Hello friends, welcome back. As we were discussing, we can use and or. So here, as I said, we can just go to the function and see that we have used and here. And what happens is if you are passing in both the tests, then you are pass. But if you fail in any one test, then you are fail. Okay. So here now if I just change and to or, the whole logic actually changes, which means that B2 should be greater than or equal to 35 or C2 should be greater than or equal to 35. Okay, so if you look at the result here, in fact everyone passes because everyone has either cleared one of the tests. But if you see an ideal situation here, like Mahesh has secured 12 marks, and then if there is also 12 marks here, it fails because either one should be more than 35. Okay, so that is how you can use or. All right. So since you have now covered and or, we can try to make it little bit complicated and see how we can use both of them. Okay. So let's try that. Suppose a student has three tests. Okay. So let me insert one column here and let us call it as test 3. That is also out of 50. Okay. And now the condition is uh, let's say test 1 plus test 2 should be equal to should be greater than 70, or test 2 plus test 3 should be greater than 70. In any case you will pass, or you can just say, let us say instead of pass we'll say selected. Okay, let's see now. So if I give some data here, let me say 12, and let us put 12 for everyone. Okay. Okay, now if I delete this data and let's go to what the condition is, try to understand the condition. The condition is that T1 plus T2 should be more than 70, or T2 plus T3 should be more than 70. In any one of the case you are selected, else you are rejected. Okay, so let's try that. So you go here and press if condition. Okay, so the if condition says that the sum of this T1 plus T2 should be more than 70. So let's try to do that. Sum, okay, of T1 comma T2, that is should be greater than 70. Okay, and because it's there is a or, you will have to start with the or here. Okay, so you'll have to say or here, bracket open, and put a comma here, and look for the second one. So that is 2 T2 plus T3 should be more than 70. So T2 uh, so how we can do this? We can actually write it in a bracket, and let's say sum of T2, that is test 2 here, comma, and test 3 should be, so let me cross that, greater than 70. And then that is the end of the first condition, and then the result. Okay, so result is, let we can write here also in the formula bar, Here it is selected, and the other one is false, that is rejected. Okay, okay. So let's press enter here. Okay, there is some error here. Uh, so okay, there is an or here. So you have to close the or here. Okay, like this. Then it is true or false. It should work now. Okay, we found a typo in formula. I tried to correct it to for or sum B2 to C2 greater than 70, comma sum C2 to D2 greater than 70. Okay, there was a bracket missing here. So you can say yes, correct it off. So you got the first one as rejected. Because if you see the first two, that is T2, T3, they're not 70. Okay, suppose if you look at T2 and T3, okay, this is going to be 24, which is again not greater than 70. So they are rejected. Now if I bring it down here to see the result, only Paul has selected because in this case T1 plus T2, that is T1 plus T2 is coming to how much? 87, and T3, sorry, T2 and T3 total is coming to 49. Okay, so let me write this formula a little bit in a bigger way so that you don't forget to implement. So let me write it here, and it's very important that you have to practice everything. Okay, so here you go. So let's just see once again what is happening. So if, then or, and then sum, comma, and then again sum of the V region. So if that is also greater than 70, then select it. Okay. So please rewind this video, check how the program is working, and you will have to practice a lot. Thank you.